Shadowverse Worlds Beyond looked like a dream come true, but now it's breaking some of its biggest promises. From missing features to a controversial new economy, Cygames is making some bold choices. I'm Saturn from Team Revelation, and let's break this down. The original trailer showcased fishing, dungeons, and mahjong as key features. Now, Cygames says they're scrapped. Instead, the world is now a social hub for card battles. We are moving away from features like fishing, mahjong, and dungeons. We've redesigned the world into a designated space to socialize and play card battles. In SV Park, you can battle each other in the lobby, form guilds with friends, and more. But what they're not saying is why they've removed these features. It is a bit unusual to me that a feature they spent a third of the original trailer championing is now being removed without any explanation. We can only take a guess as to why they did this, but I do think it's the right choice. Focusing on Shadowverse's core gameplay should be the focus. Non-essential features can always be added later, but the card game itself should come first. Being able to transfer resources, leaders, and other cosmetics has been a point of contention for many players, and Cygames has been silent on what carries over in this latest update. This means that it is likely unchanged from the previous statement, but there's no confirmation as yet. I can understand why people want to be able to use leaders they love from Shadowverse in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, but it doesn't seem like that is a priority for Cygames. To me, it makes more business sense to be able to sell you the new leaders and cosmetics, and don't forget you can always enjoy them in Shadowverse 1. Cygames is reworking how going second is balanced. The coin mechanic hinted to in the first trailer is actually 2 coins that can be used from turns 1 to 5 and then turn 6 onwards. An increase from the mulligan for both players to 4 cards, but this is less than the 5 cards they teased in the trailer. Removal of the extra draw for player 2 on their first turn, and now equal Evo points for both players. It's hard to judge these changes in a vacuum, but at least they're putting some thought into balance and giving players more agency on how and when they use their going second advantage. During the livestream, Cygames showed the languages that will be supported in Worlds Beyond, and to the surprise of many, there is a lack of German, French, and Spanish. These regions have passionate communities, so this is a big loss for them. Losing these languages straight up sucks, and it might hurt Shadowverse Worlds Beyond's growth in these regions, particularly in South America. If this impacts the number of players who can access the game, SVO West might be merged with Southeast Asia Oceania. Since most affected players are from SVO West region, and as a competitive player myself, I am really hoping this isn't the case. And finally, the biggest controversy so far, you can't vial any card you want anymore. This is a huge change from the original Shadowverse. On top of this, I've calculated that you actually get less vials than you used to. Cygames says they're doing this because in order to build other decks, players would generally liquefy cards that they weren't using. However, by doing so, players would only have cards for a certain class, and when they finally did want to try out another class or deck, it became a struggle to build them from nothing. In Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, we wanted players to try out different classes and decks, so we have adjusted it, so players can only liquefy extras beyond a 3rd copy of a card. But it's not all bad news. The daily reward will now be a straight up free pack instead of the usual 20 to 30 gold for just logging in. And legendaries will be guaranteed after 10 packs purchased. There's still a lot of things that are unclear. Will there be a slightly smaller pool of cards due to the merging of Shadow and Blood? On top of that, the finer details of the economy aren't clear. We have seen a change to the value in vials, but what about long-term resource viability? And what will the one-time missions look like? Free-to-play players might actually be fine, but I feel competitive players who need specific cards will feel this change the most. With the increased release schedule of expansions, and prizes for the World Grand Prix being a life-changing amount of money, the justification to spend money to get cards will be easy to make for many, and potentially putting the competition out of reach for many more who simply can't afford to pay. In the past, SVO allowed people to enter with cards they didn't own, which does help and is greatly appreciated, but realistically, to be able to win a competition like SVO, you need to have some amount of practice using your decks. It is important to note that until we see the economy in action, we can't really say for sure how this will impact us. Which changes are you most upset or excited about? Drop a comment, let me know, and make sure you subscribe for more Shadowverse Worlds Beyond news.